Good afternoon. My name is Zeke Cohen, and I am a city councilman representing District 1 in Baltimore, Maryland. I am thrilled to be joined by my colleagues across the country, Councilmember Tammy Morales from Seattle, Councilmember at Large Kendra Brooks from Philadelphia, Marissa Van Zanen representing Councilmember at Large Will Jawando, Councilmember Mary Lupien from Rochester, New York. Today, our Councilmembers Against Car Thefts Coalition is calling for immediate action from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the NHTSA, to issue a recall of Kia and Hyundai models with theft vulnerabilities. As locally elected officials, we are in a unique position where we serve as a direct line of communication between residents and governing agencies, keeping us consistently attuned to the issues our constituents face. We also represent some of the communities across the country that have been the hardest hit by these car thefts. Car thefts increased by 105% across the country in 2023 compared to 2019 levels. In Baltimore, that number is 207%. Rochester, New York, who is also represented on this call, saw a 594% increase. Car thefts threaten the ability of working families to access jobs, healthcare, and daily needs, impacting insurance rates and prompting countless residents to consider leaving our city. This issue reverberates beyond an inconvenience. It traumatizes our communities. We need a national solution to this crisis, a comprehensive approach grounded in the understanding that it affects more than just car owners. It affects the fabric of our cities and the lives of the people that we represent. Let me be clear. These defects do not excuse criminal behavior. Anyone who chooses to break the law and steal a car needs to be held fully accountable. However, they do enable and invite criminal activity. The failure of Kia and Hyundai to install industry-standard theft prevention technology in their vehicles has left our cities to clean up the mess. Our local law enforcement is overburdened, and while we will hold those who steal cars accountable, we need accountability from the manufacturers who exacerbated this problem. I want to recognize Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott and the mayors across the country who have filed lawsuits to hold Kia and Hyundai accountable. We need to pursue accountability from every possible angle. According to November 2023 data, in Baltimore City, Kia and Hyundai vehicles constitute only 15% of registered passenger vehicles, yet they account for a staggering 68% of vehicle thefts. Kias and Hyundais are driving the national spike in auto thefts, and we need a national strategy. The NHTSA has declined to issue a recall because it says, in effect, that this is a crime issue, not a vehicle safety issue. But when anyone, even a child without a license, can access these vehicles with just a screwdriver and a USB cord, this is a severe safety problem that is specific to Kias and Hyundais. Kia and Hyundai's efforts to address the issue by offering a software upgrade and distributing wheel locks are welcome, but insufficient. We need a national recall. Before I conclude, I want to express my gratitude to all the council members present here today, as well as those who, although unable to attend, have pledged to introduce this resolution in their respective cities. And I'm proud that Baltimore, I believe, was the first city in the United States to introduce a resolution calling on the NHTSA to recall these defective Hyundais and Kias. Council members Tiffany Caban from New York, Council member Vanessa Fuentes from Austin, as well as Council member Jeremiah Ellison and Council President Elliot Payne from Minneapolis, unfortunately had last-minute scheduling conflicts, but are invaluable members of our coalition. I also want to thank Local Progress for their support in aiding the development of this coalition. If you're a council member who wants to join our coalition, please reach out to us. In closing, we must reject the false choice between holding criminals accountable and holding manufacturers accountable. We must do both. In Baltimore, we have facilitated stronger collaboration between law enforcement, the Department of Juvenile Services, the police department, the state's attorney. But to address this crisis, we need support from the federal government to hold these manufacturers accountable. We need a recall. Thank you, and I am thrilled to introduce Councilmember Tammy Morales from Seattle.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Cohen. Good to see all of you colleagues. Thanks for being here, everyone. I wanted to talk for just a few minutes about some of the work that Seattle is doing. The Seattle City Council passed a resolution in December calling on the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration to recall specific Kia and Hyundai models and to require that the manufacturers install the industry standard anti-theft technology. The lack of this technology, which immobilizes vehicles in some models between 2011 and 2021, has made these vehicles vulnerable to theft. As Councilmember Cohen mentioned, our communities are suffering from the impact of that dramatic increase in auto thefts, and it is impacting their ability to get to work and to get to the things that they need to do in their communities. It's also negatively impacted public safety in cities across the country, including Seattle. Separately, in January, Seattle became the first city in the nation to file suit against the automakers. That lawsuit is still pending, but it does seek to recover damages for the city from the automakers. I do want to say in Seattle in particular, between January 2020 and October 2023, we had over 1,800 Kias and Hyundais stolen. In the 2015 model year, 96% of all vehicles in the United States were equipped with these immobilizers, but they were only installed in 26% of Hyundai and Kia vehicles. And so, as the council member said, this is really about corporate responsibility, but also their accountability to fix a problem that is having a dramatic impact on our neighbors and our neighborhoods. These are not luxury vehicles. These are vehicles used by everyday working class people who are just trying to get by, and they have been failed by these corporations' neglect at installing this technology. It's time to make that right, and I look forward to continuing to work with my colleagues to push at the federal level, and we will be pushing in Seattle to hold the automakers financially accountable as well.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Morales. Really appreciate your leadership and your great work on this issue and so many others in Seattle. Now really proud to have Councilmember at Large Kendra Brooks, who represents Philadelphia. And again, thank you to Councilmember Brooks for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Councilmember Cohen. I am Councilmember Kendra Brooks. I'm the minority leader in Philadelphia City Council, as well as a board member of Local Progress. It's good to be joining so many of my fellow municipal colleagues who are just shaking up things and making changes across this country. I'm a proud member of Working Families Party and the first working family member to be elected in Philadelphia City Council. And I'm here because of the problem with Kias and Hyundais, because we know that it's a problem that hits working families the hardest. We're talking about folks who can't afford a Lexus or a Mercedes, who can't afford 2 or 3 cars, who need and deserve safe, reliable transportation in order to thrive. And for working families, a stolen car can mean the difference between keeping a job and losing a job. In Philadelphia, car theft is skyrocketing, and Kias and Hyundais account for more than 60% of the problem. And working families should not be the ones bearing the burden for a mistake made by manufacturers of these cars. And we as elected officials and leaders, we have a responsibility to step in and demand that working people deserve better. And they deserve a government that speaks up for them, a government that issues a national recall for a nationwide problem affecting hundreds and thousands of people. They deserve a government that works hard to ensure that every single person who owns one of these defective vehicles has a chance to get it fixed. So I just want to thank you for taking the lead on this, and thank you for making sure that Philadelphia is a part of this coalition moving this forward.
No, thank you. And Baltimore and Philadelphia always stand together. So appreciate again your leadership. Um, really excited to have one of our other Maryland counties represented in the House. Representing Council Member at Large Will Jawando. We have Marissa Van Zanen from his staff.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon. I'm Marisa. I'm a senior legislative aide for Councilmember Jawando. I will be reading a statement from Councilmember Jawando. On February 6th, I am introducing a council resolution in Montgomery County, Maryland, one of the largest and most diverse jurisdictions in the country, requesting that the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, issue a recall of certain Kia and Hyundai models manufactured between 2011 and 2022 that lack immobilizer technology. The lack of this technology has led to increases in thefts of these models across the country. This is a known issue that the manufacturer can and must address. As a council member, I am dedicated to ensuring a safe community for all residents. Public safety requires a robust and holistic approach, including a commitment to addressing the root causes of crime and other contributing factors. Given the nationwide automobile thefts related to the Kia and Hyundai vehicles lacking immobilizer technology, it is only sensible to squarely address this problem to reduce thefts and crimes of opportunity as part of a broader response to this public safety concern. I am proud to say that many of my council colleagues have already joined in support of the resolution, and I am thankful for this national coalition for coming together around this important issue. This is how change is made, and it is heartening to be part of this coalition and come together around this issue. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marisa, and very excited to have joining us Councilmember Mary Lupian from Rochester.
Thank you for having me, and I feel gratitude for being able to have this opportunity to share what's going on in Rochester. As you stated, we have had an astronomical increase in car thefts. We lead the nation in increase from 2022 to 2023 in car thefts, and of course the majority of those are Kia and Hyundai. We have initiated legal action against the manufacturers, but we need more. I plan to introduce a memorializing resolution asking for a national recall on these models so that we can protect our community. And, like many has mentioned, it is important that we hold those accountable that are stealing cars, but at the same time, we need to be addressing root causes of crime and holding the corporate manufacturers accountable. This is a safety issue. People in our community are not only in fear of losing their cars, which they need to get to work. Our community does not have robust public transportation. It is very critical to have a car in order to have a good quality of life, but also those who are afraid to drive on the streets because, when these cars are being stolen, often they are kids without a license that don't know how to drive a car, and there have been many accidents and people that are afraid to drive for fear that they'll get hit, and it happens almost every day, and it needs to stop. And so I'm very proud to join with these other council members and mayors that are asking for this action at a national level for our government to do the right thing and to take care of our citizens. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Lupian from Rochester. And again, just to reiterate, this is a problem that is impacting all of our communities, and it really does require a collective national solution. That's why we're working together today. That's why we're going to continue to press the federal government to really take action on this issue. We've heard it across the board, whether you are on the West Coast or the East Coast. The rise in car thefts has caused enormous harm to our communities. And so again, I will just reiterate that every one of us is calling on the NHTSA to issue a recall of the defective Hyundai and Kias that have led to such a gargantuan spike in thefts. With that, would love to take any questions from the media.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Cohen. I'm Ethan Hasek, Legislative Community Affairs Director on Councilmember Cohen's staff. If you want to ask a question, you can use the raise hand function or put it in the chat. I see Pat Loeb has a question.
Okay.
Pat,
Councilmember Brooks, what are you planning to do to move this forward?
So we introduced a resolution here in Philadelphia. I think it was last council term. So we have already been a part of the work with this coalition.
The resolution was introduced and passed?
Yes.
So you're not planning a lawsuit or?
We
And-
haven't decided what the next steps are. We're going to work very closely with this coalition and move with them lockstep to figure out what the next moves are here for Philadelphia.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for the council members?
all right, hearing and seeing none. Again, I want to really sincerely thank everybody, all of the council members that showed up on this call, that have been doing this work, that are in the trenches and are hearing from our very desperate constituents about this issue again and again and again. And I am just grateful to be part of this coalition, to get to see our cities come together and our counties and work together and hopefully really solve this issue. And we challenge the federal government to join us and make this a real priority. So with that, I sincerely appreciate everyone for coming today. Thank you to the members of the media for covering, and I really appreciate folks taking the time. We will stay on this and look forward to reconvening soon. Thank you.